You're listening to the Packernet Podcast Network.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous two-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
As a quarterback, there will always be someone open. If the protection holds up, if you read the defense right, and if you deliver a good ball. All those things got to go right? But that's why Sean McVay in the Play Callers podcast, it talks about the success he had with Jared Goff when they went to the Super Bowl. They were doing a hurry up, almost like a turbo offense like they did down in Atlanta with Kyle Shanahan in Atlanta with Matt Ryan. And the reason he was doing it in L.A., and I believe Matt LaFleur was the offensive coordinator at the time, what they would do is hurry to the line of scrimmage because you still had comms on down to 15 seconds left on the play clock. And literally, Jared Goff would come to the line, and Sean McVay would read the defense and tell them where to throw the ball. Like that's how
crazy.
Good they were at doing it. So it's just absolutely wild. I'm sure he was coming in going, okay, they're showing an over front. Watch the Sam backer. He may be blitzing, probably a cover 3 look. If not, if it's cover 1, you're going to this choice route on the backside. Now that you mentioned that, it's funny because I remember watching clips of Matt Stafford, which, they traded that whole thing because he thought Stafford was a better caliber quarterback to actually get him to the big dance and win it. And there was multiple clips of McVay just going off and Stafford's going, he's just still talking. Like, I don't even like he already, I don't know if it's that he already decided what play he's going to run because he's just more well equipped or that he already got it. But McVay, he's like, he won't shut up. Like he's still going. Yeah. He's still talking. He probably talked well beyond the microphone cutting off. Ryan Wood tweeted this out earlier on the practice field. By the way, man, Lambeau in the backdrop, beautiful, partly cloudy skies, man. Just
it was 70 degrees and sunny, partly cloudy today. It was perfect.
It's perfect. He says Jordan Love to Josh Jacobs, Jordan Love to Jaden Reed, boxing gloves trying to punch out the football here on this drill. We haven't talked about Jaden Reed much, Jacob. I think he's going to pick up right where he left off last year, dude. That guy came out as a rookie and was just an absolute baller. You've got Christian Watson fully healthy. I think it's safe to say through camp, check it off the box, right? Check the box off the list. That hammy's holding up. So whatever they did in the offseason, they said they had it fixed. There's no reason to not believe them right now, man. What do you think about getting all those receivers on the field at once, though?
Ooh, man, it's an exciting prospect. That's for sure, because I don't know for sure. Maybe Chad can help me out. I don't remember Christian Watson having a fully healthy season completely. And to my knowledge, other than that one time where he had that across the field kind of hard hit, but I didn't even think he just maybe came out for the end of that kind of thing. And I believe he was practicing the next day. So that to me is, like you said, super intriguing. They literally went in there to that specialist there. I believe it was in Madison and figured out like, this is your problem, dude. Your leg's bigger than the other one. Like it's about as sometimes it sounds so scientific. And then other times it's like your leg's bigger, dude. And you're like, oh yeah, I should have known that. But with Jaden Reed, with the Jaden Reed thing, he's been quiet. And I think lately Dobbs has been quiet. Maybe it's just because we're not seeing those scrimmages and the passes. And I live on a day-to-day basis for Packers. So I say they've been quiet. It's been a week. But I really do think that people are sleeping on the absolute freaks we have at this position. And we've went over it over and over again in the offseason. People are like, well, the Packers don't have a number one. Yes, we do. We have 4 of them. Like, you just don't know where they're lining up on any given play. So good luck with that, Philly.
Chewy in the chat said if there is any team that has as many exciting receivers as we do, it's Philly. Amen.
That's a good point too, though. I'd say their 3 are great. After that, they fall off a bit, but yeah. And I'm
of the opinion, I feel like we've got a roster full of number 2 receivers, and that's more than adequate enough to just play within a scheme, especially a Matt LaFleur type passing scheme, where you're going to be able to get open, you're going to be able to make plays. We do. I think we have 4 legitimate number 2 wide receivers and 2 legitimate number 3 wide receivers. And
yeah, that's fair.
Those 4 guys could step out and be a 1 in a second. When I say 1, I'm not talking about, all right, we got to force him the ball. When I talk about a true number 1, to me, everybody's got different definitions of what a number 1 wide receiver is. To me, a number 1 wide receiver, a true number 1 wide receiver, he will dictate coverage. He will force them to play bracket coverage. He'll basically help you win the hat count battle in the passing game because he's drawing 2 people to him at once. We don't have that yet. They're not doing that with Christian Watson. There's some people that believe he has. Not the case. Now, DBs will play a little more conservative with Christian Watson after that coming out party against Dallas at Lambeau back in 2022. They definitely they'll give him that deep curl route, that deep sit route that you see they run at like 12 yards out of a play action. But go ahead, Jay. What were you gonna say, man?
Honestly, I just lost my train of thought there. But I guess what the heck was I gonna ask you? Go ahead with something. I'll figure it out in a second here.
All right. Good deal. So obviously that was them just kind of talking up the wide receivers there. We had Tucker Kraft, another guy that I'm really excited about to see what he does with this year's campaign. Tucker Kraft, man, I've been very vocal, and I hope Luke Musgrave proves me wrong, because if he does, it means this Packers offense is absolutely humming. But I think Tucker Kraft is the best tight end on this roster as it sits right now, as that true Y. And he can also play you. He's just that traditional tight end. I see Musgrave as more of that flex guy, more of that hybrid role, that weapon that you can flex out and take advantage of personnel mismatches. But here was Tucker Kraft at his locker earlier today.
Here, just that alone, what is your excitement level on that?
Yeah, just the hurdles I had to jump over to be ready to play in this game back in May, tearing my pec, rebuilding it. Getting back to this point, feeling as confident as I have ever been in my body, especially in the run game, feeling really strong, feel really in tune with the offense going into this game, into the season in general, but one play at a time. Like, I want to dominate. It's my one word, just dominate.
Is that the carrot that's been out there the whole time, this start of this season, then that the motivator for you?
Yeah. I just I think you just break things down and make them as simple as they are. This play I have extra responsibility, just adhering to your technique. And like I said, just trying to dominate the man across from you, whether it's releasing on a route or fitting a guy up in the run game.
How enthusiastic are you about this offense in general? A lot of guys who obviously have had success and seemingly would come up a springboard from the tail end of last season.
Yeah, I'm still riding that high. We might have lost our last game last year, but the weekly improvements I felt amongst the guys during the season, week to week, it just got me excited for what's to come. And going here now, getting like a quarter of the training camp with the fellas compared to everybody else grinding it out every day. I feel like I was still able to find some of that groove that everyone else might have been in. So we're all along for the ride now. We're ready to ball.
Jacob, you have the floor, man. That dude fires me up.
Again, yeah, he might be my new favorite Packer, and I hope that he'll be a great to move forward. There was something different about him when I watched his tape. When I just got excited about him, I obviously was drawn towards the RAS. I saw that, and just his demeanor. When I looked into his backstory about how basic, wasn't he the one, or was it? I can't remember if it was Tanner that was offered to be like, "Yo, we'll bring you to Alabama. Like, you can go to Alabama if you'd like to transfer." And I'm pretty sure that he wanted to stay in. Was it South Dakota? It was either him or Musgrave. But you guys in the chat, I'm sure, know better than I do. I just think that he's going to be our better tight end, if not our best tight end we've had recent history. And if not, I don't have enough brains to say that he's not going to be the best in our Packers history. I really do have that much confidence in him. I think that he is smart. He's physical. He's well-grounded. He is, Dave says that was Kraft. He was offered multiple high-end schools, and he wanted to stay in town because I believe his father played at that school, or his father was there was something there where he was like, I'm doing what I'm doing. And he trusted the process and ended up being a very high draft pick. And now we're going to see what's going to happen with him when he gets into this league and actually starts letting, year one's always going to be tough. They say, do you argue, Clayton, that tight end on the offense is probably one of the hardest positions to learn because you have to know basically the whole playbook? Like you got to know every little intricacy there. And
you do, man. We talked about what a true why was, and I'd text you guys that because I was taking notes, reading up on the position a little while back, being the damn nerd that I am. And if I can find it now, I'm going to see if I can in our chat without too much dead air here. But a true why, and it talked about the responsibilities that they have. To have someone in there, a true why, you've got to be able to do these things. It's probably pretty far back in our chat.
Just give me 1 second here. Chill Turtle says Kraft has got that dog mentality. Just before that, Mr. Goat was saying that Kraft has some Gronk to him. I really, that's my whole opinion where I feel like I'm not overselling him. I really do think that he is that guy. Once his body catches up, once his experience catches up, once he understands the game of football at the NFL level, I just feel like that he is that guy that's going to make a play, and he is going to be just an aggressive person in both the offensive game or the offensive passing game and the running game as well.
Yep. I've got it here. A true Y has to be able to run block a 9-tech, pass block a 7-tech, have great spatial awareness, and a total understanding of choice routes. He proved he can do all of that last year.
Yeah.
Notice I didn't say great hands because you got to sacrifice something. It just so happens Tucker Kraft's got great hands.
He didn't drop a single ball, did he?
No.
That's crazy.
So, like, you throw in great hands there too. I mean, he does. He's got great spatial awareness. It was very rare that you've seen him get walloped because he wasn't aware of what was going on around it. Now, he did try to hurdle a couple people and take it on the dangles. We talked about that, right? The old dankle got abused last year.
The old nuggets.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not a great blocker, but he proved he can be a good blocker. Now, maybe this year he takes that next step. By the end of the season, he had improved immensely in run blocking. So,
yeah,
I think we got to.
I think it's true that if you can correct me if I'm wrong, but he played his best ball as the season progressed, which is what you want to see. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times you see guys that are flashing the pans. We had a great game in week 3, week game in week 4, and then they fall off. Tucker Kraft got better and better and better as it aged. He's like a fine wine.
If you guys and gals would take a quick second, hit that like button for us. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us here on this glorious Sunday evening. It's officially September. Fall and football is going to be in the air here really, really soon. Just to give an update on the poll question we put out here in the YouTube comment section, which Packers player are you most excited to see make their debut with the team? It's neck and neck now. Josh Jacobs, 49%. Xavier McKinney, 41%. Jordan Morgan at 4%. And Javon Bullard at 6%. And we've got 78 votes on that. Pretty good sample size. I love the fact that we can do those poll questions in here now. But here was Xavier McKinney in his locker. Obviously, he played with Saquon Barkley last year. He goes to the Philadelphia Eagles. So let's see what Xavier McKinney had to say about it.
Yeah, we were. I actually was talking to him not too long ago. Just asking him how his camp was going, see how he was doing. We chatted a little bit. So, yeah.
What makes him so good?
He's just dynamic with the ball. He's pretty much all you want a back to do. Obviously, you've seen him just over the years, the things that he's done. When he has the ball in his hands, and even when he's, running routes. I've seen him run routes in practice and even some games. So he just can do it all. He's a special back one-on-one. So yeah.
And the thing about Saquon, Jacob, he does the majority of his damage early in the year too, man, because obviously he has to battle injuries. That's been the only knock against his game, really, his entire career is injuries. So, Jacob had to step away there for a few minutes. We're ready to wrap this thing up anyway. I want to hit these Patreon questions real quick. Give a shout out to our Patreon group. Appreciate y'all supporting the show. If you're interested in joining one of our 3 tiers of Patreon group, you can just scan that QR code in the upper right. That'll send you to Packer Fan Total Access live on Patreon, or you can go to patreon.com, search Packer Fan Total Access, and that'll send you there as well. And we also do giveaways with the 3 tiers and all that stuff throughout the year. So Jordan Taylor in the Patreon group said Sunday, all 53 players are practicing, including Marshawn Lloyd, Andre Dillard, etc. How do you see the running back distribution against this strong Eagles front, but a less talented secondary and linebacker group? All right. That question, let's handle it first. As far as the running back distribution, Emmanuel Wilson's weak spot is the passing game, unfortunately. His pass pro and his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield and be dynamic in that regard. I'm not saying he's bad at it, but it's definitely not his strength. He's a better running back than a receiving back. So with that being said, I think the only way to answer that question, Jordan, is Josh Jacobs is going to have to carry the load in the passing game. It's that simple. Now, what I hate to see is you have to take Josh Jacobs off the field during obvious running downs because you've got to keep him somewhat fresh for the passing game. That would absolutely suck, right? So, but yeah, to answer your question, I think the running back distribution will be you're going to have to take into consideration that Josh Jacobs is going to be your strong point in the passing game and not try to put Emmanuel Wilson in a bad spot to do something that he's not necessarily good at doing, and that's being a receiving back. So hopefully that answers your question there. Dontavion Wicks missed a lot of training camp as a rookie, but had a huge impact almost immediately. Which rookies that have missed a lot of camp could see a similar outcome? Read it again. Dontavion Wicks missed a lot of training camp as a rookie, but had a huge impact almost immediately. Which rookies missed a lot of camp? We can see a similar outcome. When it comes to mine, for me, is Jordan Morgan.
Yeah.
He pretty much missed most of camp. And here's the thing. It's not that I've seen anything to go, yeah, Jordan Morgan's the man, right? That's not the case at all. The coaches and the fact that they tried to force him into that right guard spot tells me they seen something early on, probably as early as rookie orientation. And when the rookies and quarterbacks reported before the rest of the team, they seen something early on that said, we got to get this guy on the field. Forget that he's been a left tackle his entire life. We've got to get him on the field. So that would be the rookie that I would say that's missed a lot of camp that I could see a similar outcome to Dontavion Wicks and actually having an immediate impact would definitely be Jordan Morgan. Jacob, you got anything you want to add to that question there, man?
Yeah, 100%. Mine be Edgerrin Cooper for sure.
Ooh, I like it.
We haven't gotten to see what I would hoped. The flashes that I saw, his physical ability was what I expected. Just trying to get him mentally prepared to accept, what he has to do in that position, I think is the biggest step, the biggest hurdle he's going to take. I freaking love the dude. Every time I watch his interviews, I just think he's just a wonderful, happy soul. He's always smiling. He's talking about his dogs. He's talking about hunting. He's doing all this kind of stuff. He just seems, again, like such a great Packer. I feel like if he, again, God forbidding an injury or anything like that, if he were to be flushed into that starting rotation, I think that he would surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. Dave Colvin with a question here from our Patreon group said, after today's episode, how many compensatory picks are we looking at possibly getting next year? Round and actual picks won't be determined until after the season. So the only way I know to answer that question, Dave, I do know I'm almost positive there's a rule in place that you can have no more than 4. Hopefully that helps. But, yeah, the compensatory picks, man, it's an argument every year. Every year there's an argument.
What do you think about this, Clay? Prince says that comp picks 0 to possibly a 7 because of the fact that we did receive Jacobs and McKinney contracts offset our losses. I don't know. You're more of a numbers guy. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. Basically, this is the way I understand it. And listen, I'm no expert, nor do I play one on TV here when it comes to comp picks. But with the comp picks, they try to take into consideration, and they've got a group evidently that determines, all right, of the players you lost in free agency compared to the players that you gained in free agency. Would you say the team that you came out better after free agency or worse? If it's worse, they try to provide you with comp picks to try to even that out. That's the way it's been explained to me. I don't know if that's 100% accurate. The only thing I do know for sure is I'm almost positive. I shouldn't say for sure. I'm almost positive you can have no more than 4 picks. So, yeah.
That's the way I understand it as well.
Yeah. And Dave MX6 says, perfect end to my birthday talking Packers on PTA with y'all cats. Happy birthday, Dave. Look at Jacob and Dave celebrating birthdays close together here. That's pretty cool, man. So,
yeah, boy.
Again, shout out to the Patreon group. Appreciate y'all providing those questions. Again, we got multiple chats set up there for people that are supporting the channel over on Patreon like this. We got a questions section where if you got a question for the show, you guys get top priority for supporting the show. Obviously, it's kind of the equivalent to super chats because we never know when the YouTube monetization will go down with this group that we've got in here. So if you guys are interested, like I said, just scan the QR code. That'll send you over to our Patreon group. But we still try to hit on regular chats too. We appreciate y'all just as much as anyone else, but I know there was many people reaching out going, how can we support the show? How can we support the show? That's how we do it. And then obviously if you're one of 3 tiers, we will throw you into giveaways too, just to give back to those who are giving to us. We appreciate y'all for that. I'm going to check Twitter real quick.
Could I propose a segment quick?
Yeah, man, absolutely.
I know I said that I had to run, but I just went and did some real quick business I had to get done. So I'm willing to go a little bit longer if you guys are. I know Carly sent us a snapshot that you were talking about in the Twitter DMs. I don't know if you want to highlight that. And I'm going to kind of hold the chat hostage. Guys, we got 51 likes. If we can get up to 70 likes, we're going to extend it 20 minutes. All right?
Yeah.
And that's not all. Yeah, it is.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. Set it and forget it.
I downloaded that picture just now. And for whatever
Do you want me to hit some chats for a minute while you try to figure that out?
Yeah, I'm just going to screen grab it. You go right ahead, man.
Sure. Mr. Weed in the chat says maybe LaFleur would go with a full Wildcat. This is when we were talking about what would happen if he, God forbid, went put into the game. That's intriguing. Did he run that at Liberty, I'm asking? I don't know that for sure, so chat hit me up on that as well. Affam says, my mouth was watering seeing DeVito's mom handing out chicken cutlets. I'm just glad that handing out chicken cutlets followed that original part of that.
Yes, sir. I completely.
And Prince says the kind of situation where Cooper's speed would really come in handy. Without him and Quay would possibly be the QB spy. That's talking about how we would handle rushing and scrambling quarterbacks. And this is a good point that I think maybe we didn't talk about enough with the Ari Iron Miner is that we will be running the ball for sure if we get into that situation. I think that's true in a way, but if there is a situation where in these next couple practices / weeks where they see enough out of Malik Willis, and let's not forget, guys, he had arguably one of the better preseasons of any quarterbacks that had the amount of snaps he did have. So there is, I'm not going to totally throw my whole weight into his boat and say that I'm on this dude's team right now, or that I'm on this guy's, plan of that he'll be an actual successful quarterback or even a backup quarterback in this league. But I do think that he has all the tools and everything that should be going for him. You got that, Clay, or you want me to keep going?
Yeah, no, I got it, bro. We're good to go.
Throw it.
I'll go ahead and pull it up here. You explained to them. You're more familiar with this than me. This is a screen grab Carly sent over from the draft. So what are we looking at here? Is that the picks down there? 1, 1, 1, 2, all that across the board? Jacob?
Yep. So 1-1 means round 1, pick 1.
Try to give the users a shout out if you can read it there. And I know you can't see the entire name, but
yeah, let's do this. All right. So, guys, we are doing a 12 round. This is actually, hey, Pack Daddy's in there. How about that? I love that. He always said that he would never do it. I could not get this guy to do a fantasy football league for like 4 years that I worked for him.
He said Carly jump in there and make some money.
Carly throws one up, and all of a sudden he's right in the game. I tell you what. So basically what this is, guys, is a 12-round draft. And usually you're going to try – this is a PPR round, which I believe means points per reception. And it also is a super flex league. If she didn't change it, it means you get 2 quarterbacks, which that's very unusual. And I don't know if she switched it, but at the time they also did defensive players. So that all being said, usually you have a absolute ADP, which is an average draft position, similar to what you do in a college football draft. But when you're doing fantasy football, there's different tendencies or stat projections that are definitely going to dictate where you draft a player. So it's not whether or not you're going to win or lose a game. It's how many points or yards or all that kind of stuff that a guy can accrue. This is pretty it's a little interesting because you got Christian McCaffrey first, CeeDee Lamb second in a super flex league. That's usually you get a run on quarterbacks right away. As you'll see right after that, you got Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jamar Chase, Jalen Hurts, and so on and so on. Although Jordan Love gets picked with the 7th pick overall, which definitely would only happen in a super flex league. Usually he's going around quite considerably later, like 6, 7, 8, 9 rounds. As far as who is in here in the league, Big Jake, Trevor from Virginia, CJN, we know who that is. Hunka Burnin' Love, pretty sure I know who that is. Chris Enns, I know who that is. Dane's Dazzling Team, I believe, is I don't know who that is. And that's all I can see on this screen grab right now.
Mhm.
But if you guys ever are interested in doing, you can do daily fantasy, you can do weekly fantasy. It's really fun. It does make watching, especially obscure games, like games that we just talked about at the beginning, where it's like, I don't give a crap about the Falcons versus Steelers. But if you put like, even so, a few dollars here and there, if you were to do a sort of parlay, or even with Prize Picks, if you're not in a sort of state that allows actual putting bets down, you can still make an insane amount of money off of just being either super lucky or being super smart. So I implore all of you to take a peek at fantasy football. It is literally, it makes me and my buddies timeline, like that's just, it's so fun. Anytime that like we're, I having a bad day or whatever, we'll just randomly shoot a text in the chat, and all of a sudden you're just engaged and you start talking stuff. And especially if you have a group of people that you're friends with, that is the best time of your life. It might be the worst if you're in the worst part of the league. And I will say this, and I'll shoot it back to you, Clayton. I'll shut up. The best part about being in a fantasy football league, in my opinion, has been what has been called I don't know how to basically the caboose, or the end of the league, or if you're the worst person that finishes, you usually have to do some sort of bet or embarrassing situation because of the fact that you placed last in the league. So I will admit that I lost a fantasy football league in 2018, and me and the other last place winner, one of my best friends and my roommates named Moonshine, were sentenced to stand on the corner of Broadway, right by the Bridgestone Arena, with a tutu and a large sign that said, "I suck at fantasy football." So I have cross-dressed in my life once, for all of you.
Absolutely awesome, man. Let's see here. Nate Dogg says, do you have to be in a league, or can you just go on FanDuel and play? There's like DraftKings has basically you can pick fantasy players on DraftKings per game. Like, it's just players in that specific game. It's a lot of fun, man.
They all do it now. DraftKings, Underdog, Prize Picks. There's literally about 10 or 12 that are very reputable that I would totally get into. It's fun.
Heck yeah. What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite website, Jacob?
Right now it's Underdog, just because they allow you to do best balls starting in right after the draft starts. So in late April and early May, me and my buddy Tony and Paul, who we used to do the fantasy, the Packernet Fantasy podcast, we'd be in there. I don't even want to admit how much money I've spent on best ball drafts. And that's my favorite. So anybody that doesn't know fantasy football, best ball means you draft a large team, and you say you get 20 players. Out of that, you'll have a starting lineup from maybe like 8 to 11, depending on your league. And just the highest score of your team is going to be your high score. And then you go on, and it's really fun. Like Clayton said, there's daily fantasy, there's best ball, there's hero leagues, there's dynasty leagues, there's elite leagues. It is just almost a little bit too much to handle. And this is not something new, guys. This has been around, I believe I highlighted it, since like the late 70s. And it was where people were scoring through like newspapers. And then once it progressed into the modern days, then it became way more prevalent. But I'm excited, man. You can tell probably by how jacked
He says Jacob's off the chains tonight. Tutus, playing best balls, the whole 9 yards.
Hey, man.
So just a quick recap of that first round. And Carly, thank you so much for sending this over. And I'm going to I can't see the full name of the Patreon members who are participating in this fantasy draft here. And we're going to give you guys updates throughout the season. I know there's a lot of people hearing this right now go, I hate fantasy football. I understand. I'm not a big fantasy football guy either. But we're just going to step in from time to time, cover a couple minutes. Here's who's leading in the standings, and include that into the show. I think is really cool. But with the first pick, it says Danes, and the name cuts off. He took Christian McCaffrey. Second overall pick, it was Chris Inns, took CeeDee Lamb. Third pick was Hunka, took Josh Allen, quarterback. CJN took Patrick Mahomes at number 4. Trevor took Jamar Chase at number 5. Big Jake took Jalen Hurts with the 6th pick. K. Rizzo, I'm pretty sure that was Carly Ray, took Lamar Jackson with the 7th overall pick. Mox M.A. took Jordan Love with the 8th pick. Lazy Pyro took Bijan Robinson with the number 9 pick. Pack and took Breece Hall with the 10th pick. Pack Daddy took I wonder if that is Ryan. I don't know if it is or not. I'm going to check and see. He took Amon-Ra St. Brown with the 11th pick. I I'm pretty sure this says immunization probably is the name, but took Tyreek Hill with the number 12 pick. United Bates took C.J. Stroud with the 13th pick, and Dave C. took Justin Jefferson with the 14th pick. So, like I said, just want to give you guys a live look in there. Appreciate Carly for sharing that and sending it over. Last thing we're going to hit on here, Jacob, from here on out the rest of the week, we're going to be just absolutely diving into Packers versus Eagles, all the different matchups, all that good stuff. So this came across the wire on Packers.com from their dope sheet. If you guys don't know what the dope sheet is, it's a tradition that the Packers have done, I think, since Curly Lambeau's time, I believe, where they'll just do kind of a preview of the season, but they also have a preview every week. They'll have the weekly dope sheet, okay? So Packers at Eagles, the all-time regular season record against them, the Packers are 27-16. All-time postseason, they're 1-2. All-time at Philadelphia in the regular season, they're 9-10. But keep in mind, this has got to kind of gets thrown out the window because it's at a neutral site in Brazil. Streaks, the Packers have 3 of the last 5 regular season meetings and scored 27-plus points in all 5. All right. Last meeting, regular season, November 27th, 2022, was at Lincoln Financial Field. The Eagles won 40-33. Now, the coaching.
But did they win right there, Clayton? Just sorry to interject. That was the game, if I'm not mistaken, that Jordan Love came in at garbage time, and everybody was like, "Whoa!" I think I remember Chris Collinsworth even saying, "Whoa!"
Oh yeah,
who's Jordan Love? And who's that Christian Watson coming around the corner?
The guy.
Hey. So that was a catalyst as to what became of Jordan Love.
It's a good point, man. Coaches capsules. Matt LaFleur is 56-27 with a win percentage of .675. He's 3-4 in the postseason. It's his 6th NFL season. Nick Sirianni is 34-17 with a .667 winning percentage. So Matt LaFleur significantly higher than Nick Sirianni in winning percentage. He's 2-3 in the postseason, very similar to Matt LaFleur, and it's only his 4th NFL season as head coach. Head-to-head, Matt LaFleur is 0-1 versus Sirianni, obviously losing that only matchup they've had. And then versus the opponent, LaFleur is 1-2 versus the Eagles, as Sirianni is 1-0 versus the Packers. So just wanted to kind of touch on that real quick, give you guys kind of that dope sheet look there. Sirianni's a pretty damn good coach, Jacob. But Matt LaFleur, man, I tell you, if he keeps winning if he wins another 10, 11 games this year, people are going to have to put some respect on his name, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable if they haven't yet. It's just weird. So Turtles makes a great point here. He goes, that year, that was against a Super Bowl winning Eagles defense. Or I shouldn't say winning, but at least a Super Bowl caliber defense. And then United Bates is the same thing. Rodgers left that game in the third quarter. Definitely saw what we could have out of the possibility of Jordan Love going forward. So it was, and Nate Dogg, and still no coach of the year. It is crazy that when the guy went, 13 wins in his first, is it 3?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me, man.
Yeah.
So
watch, if Rodgers does well this year, if they give Salah coach of the year, I swear.
Oh my God. Could you imagine?
I'm going to poop.
That's how I'm going to feel about it.
Yeah.
So, all right. So there you go. There was the, like I said, the quick little, what do you want to call it? Dope sheet, Packers at Eagles update there. So I'm excited to see what they do, man, for sure, as far as this matchup against Philly at the neutral site down there in Brazil. And again, it's full go. I know many people were thinking they might not go. It sounds like all signs are a go. They're flying out Wednesday, ready to roll. I want to hit this real quick before we wrap up too, Jacob. This is really cool. I'm so excited. I nerd out over this stuff. And listen, I know by listening to Packernet After Dark, I think I'm the only Packer fan that gets excited about this stuff. Everybody else is like, they could care less. They just want to watch the game. But Ari Miroff had tweeted this out a couple of days ago. He said, this will be awesome. ESPN announced that Bill Belichick will be a featured guest on the Manning Cast every week this season during the first half. But wait, there's more. All right. So think about this. Monday Night Football every week, Belichick is going to jump on in the first half. He's probably going to tell you the keys to beating each team and how he would game plan against them, which is just absolutely awesome insight. He says there's more. Throughout the season, Peyton and Bill will host a 30-minute show every Friday previewing that week's Monday Night Football game. The show will include a film room and schematic breakdown, focusing on team and player tendencies, as well as the game plan approach for both teams. So every Friday, they're going to show you, here's how we would prep and plan for these two teams on Monday Night Football. And then in the first half, he's going to jump in there. They're going to talk about what they've seen in the first half. I'm absolutely fired up over this.
Respect orders, first of all. Of course, I always bring it to somewhere funny. If Bill Belichick could quote in that picture, I don't want to hug you, Peyton. I got to go see a girl.
Heard it from a fan right here.
I love the idea of this. I am a little bit hesitant because it's like, okay, well, you're telling me both teams on Friday night, they're going to be like, all right. All right. All right. And like, what kind of actual collusion does this invite? Because like, is Bill Belichick or Peyton technically involved in the NFL still legally? You know what I'm saying?
Not
Are they out there? Okay. So I'm just wondering, like, here's what I do to like either the Colts or the Broncos. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, well.
It's hilarious. This picture, I see what you're saying, man. Bill is like leaning away.
He's being like, get a Tic Tac, dude.
Peyton's like, Coach, I just want you to know I'm a big fan. And Bill Belichick's like,
pressure.
Yeah, I just want to get to the locker room, Peyton. Get away from me, man.
Yeah.
So, no, that's going to be absolutely awesome, man. I'm shut up and take my money. I'm sure this is going to be on ESPN Plus, and I haven't subscribed to it yet. This will be the tipping point. So there you go. That's going to be a done deal if that's where you gotta see that on, or as Dak Prescott would say.
Here we go.
Oh, don't do that.
All right, don't do that. All right, Jacob, anything else you want to hit on, man? We pretty much covered everything I had on the list here, dude.
Man, I think that's about it. Practice tomorrow or no?
Yeah, practice tomorrow and Tuesday. Then they fly out on Wednesday.
Are you at all worried about the fact that we've unfortunately, so they're flying out Wednesday, which means they get a day to get acclimated to everything they're going on there, and then they got to play that Thursday night. That sounds about it.
It is what it is, man.
So there's a possibility they won't even be there a full 24 hours. That makes me nervous. I'm not gonna
know this with what's going on down there. I can't imagine they were like, let's get down there a week early. They're probably going, let's get in and get out. You know what I'm saying? That's probably what's going to happen there. Here we got an update on the poll question tonight on YouTube. Which Packers player are you most excited to see make their debut with the team? Really close race down to the wire here. Josh Jacobs, 45%. Xavier McKinney, 43%. Javon Bullard, 9%. Jordan Morgan, 4%. So Josh Jacobs, Xavier McKinney running away with it here. Let Javon Bullard go out there and get a couple interceptions in week one and watch that poll question change. But 94 votes. Appreciate everybody contributing there. Thank y'all so much for giving your take on it. So
yeah, you're right. In my brain, I thought we were playing Thursday. Shut up.
No, hey, I get it.
And look who joined at the last very second. Look at his
profile thing.
What are you doing?
Eric Sutherland, shout out. Say good evening, everyone. Hope all is well. It sounds like he might have spent like 3 nights in jail and came out on, like, okay, I'm going to straighten my life up. Good evening, everyone. Hope all is well.
All right.
So
one last thing before we get out of here, because we only have 2-3 minutes until we actually hit that 120 mark. So Jeff started it off. Give us your Packers projections. I think that's a great way to maybe end this thing going right here. Do you have one personally, Clayton, while the chat starts falling in? Because I haven't even thought about it, to be honest, which is crazy. I would honestly say 24-17, something like that sounds possible.
Yeah, that's tough. I hate doing this type of thing. I hate predicting and all that. But the spread, some people's got it at 3 points. Other people's got it at 2.5. I mean, listen, Vegas, they know what the hell they're doing. Going to be a neutral site, right? Packers are catching some points, even though they were the away team. So it's probably more of a push than anything. So I think it's going to be a close game. Early in the season, typically the offenses struggle early in the season. At least that's the way I remember the NFL in the past. So I'm going to say maybe a little lower scoring, like maybe a 21-17 top score.
Ooh.
And I got to be real, man. I think that LaFleur does a really good job game planning against opponents. Well, you can't really do that against this Eagles team. Okay. So that's gonna cause some issues. But
you say he can't do it. Is that because there's so many unknowns?
Yes, correct. Like if this was week 5, I would feel a lot better about the Packers versus the Eagles. Right. Now, the fact, like I said, I know I've said it 1,000 times, but it's so important. And you're going to hear me say it until kickoff. Neutral site is absolutely huge for the Packers. If this was in Philly, I would probably lean toward Philly by 3 or 4 points. But the fact that it's a neutral site, I'm going to go Packers by less than a touchdown. I'll just leave it at that. And I don't think it's going to get out. Maybe it'd be something like 24-20, 24-17, somewhere around there.
Yeah, so we're in the – I said 24-17, so we're in the same ballpark. CJN right there as well, 24-21. Respect Oranges, same thing, 27-24. Narv proves he's the one. I would jump through my third-story window.
Easy, Jacob. So we just got monetized, Jacob.
So Turtle says 31-17. Jay says 27-14. These are all basically kind of ballparkish. Weed says it's could be a weird week. I don't know, but he says he likes Green Bay's chances. Mr. Prince says 34-30. That's another. Yeah. Weed goes in to say 31 Philly 16, and Bates really going to try to make us all have a heart attack. Says 27-24 Packers win.
That'd be a blast.
Eric goes 27-13. And at some point, I'm going to have to cut you guys off. I'm sorry. But 34-24, Pack says Ronald. We got Ron Sandville coming in with 34-17 as well. J. Cole, 27-26. What are you doing, Jay? Ooh. Don't put that out there. You don't put that on me, Ricky.
My favorite is Ron Sandville. I hope he gets it right. 34-17. Fourth quarter, just sitting back with a daddy soda, getting ready for the post-game show. That's
absolutely.
What I was so.
Oh, boy.
All right. Guys, we're out of here. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us. We hit it right on the dot there. Jacob, thank you for joining, man. I'm glad you jumped in here. I thought I was flying solo, but thank you so much, pal. I appreciate it. So we will be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Time, to talk about everything that we may or may not have learned about practice on Monday afternoon. We'll try to get some more pressers, things like that. Keep you guys in the loop on some of the injury concerns. Obviously, the ones we want to keep our eye on, Marshawn Lloyd, Jordan Morgan, kind of get a little bit better feel for, are these guys going to be contributing? Is Jordan Morgan going to be playing, and how many snaps do we think Marshawn Lloyd may or may not have? And also Adrian Cooper's one we haven't talked about. There hasn't been a real distinctive update on him, Jacob. So hopefully we hear tomorrow that he's practicing. Again, I don't think he's going to be starting. It kind of feels like if he is healthy, he's a little bit behind schedule. But who knows, man? We may go out there and I'll be damned, there he is on the field, right? That would be awesome. But I think you're going to see a lot of Isaiah McDuffie in that nickel. But nonetheless, we got plenty of time to talk about it as we close in on game day here. So thanks, everybody, for watching. Hit that like button on your way out. For those of you listening on the pod, thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world. And go Pack Go.